Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially on countdown mode. 4 games, and then Mauricio Pochettino will have to call up the U.S. Men's National Team 2026 World Cup roster. We have 2 games in November of 2025 and 2 in March of 2026. 4 friendlies total. And unfortunately, our coach looks confused, to say the least. The rosters look weak, and the results have been quite concerning. But maybe, just maybe, things get better this window. Who knows? Probably not. Okay, so out of the 4 games left, the next one is against Paraguay. And today we're going to preview that game. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And welcome to the ultimate United States versus Paraguay match preview. This is how it's going to go. First, I'm going to go through when and where to watch the game, along with a few fun facts here and there. Then we'll go through some news and updates of the U.S. Men's National Team, projected starting 11, and then my starting 11. How would I set up the United States to face Paraguay this Saturday? And for this video, we have a great guest, a huge guest. Some might say the best guest this channel has ever had. But it's also not the first time he's featured at Tactical Manager TV. He is a 2024 Copa America final survivor, and he stalked his way to the channel. He is freaky, and his name is Fabio, the Paraguayan stalker of our 2024 Copa America final video. If you haven't watched that vlog, you might want to go check it out right now. We'll put the link in the description, or you can just look it up on the channel. Fabio will be the guest. He's Paraguayan American. He's been traveling all over the world in South America, Japan, the United States with the Paraguayan national team. He has a lot of insights on this team, so you're going to get to know the opponent much better. On top of that, during that section of the video towards the end, me and Fabio will also talk about the U.S. Men's National Team because he does also root for the U.S. and he does know the player pool quite well. Some might argue that he is the most famous Paraguayan in the United States of America. And I don't say this lightly. No, seriously. Name one Paraguayan more famous than Freaky Fabio. Okay, and don't forget to drop a like in this video if you haven't already. Help us hit 1,000 likes. Subscribe if you want to. And that's all. Let's roll the intro and start the episode. The United States Men's National Team is set to face Paraguay this Saturday as a friendly at 5 p.m. Eastern Time in Pennsylvania. If you're in the United States of America, you can watch this game on TNT, Telemundo, HBO Max, Peacock, and you can probably find it online on one of those sketchy links that says if you click on it, you will watch the game and win $1 million. Now listen, never, ever trust those links, okay? Sometimes when you click on it, you will be able to watch the game, but you'll never win the $1 million. That is a lie. And your computer will get AIDS, and your computer will die. Trust me, and do not ask how I know. And of course, we will be doing a live watch along here at the channel at Tactical Manager TV, and hopefully Spicy Jeff updates us on how his hemorrhoids have been doing. I hope they healed. The United States and Paraguay have faced each other 8 times throughout history, with 4 American wins, 2 Paraguayan wins, and 2 draws. The last time they faced each other was in 2018, where the United States defeated Paraguay 1-0, and the goal was scored by no one less than Bobby Wood. And here's a little fun fact for you. The United States and Paraguay actually faced each other in the 1930 World Cup, which was the first World Cup ever, and that game ended with a 3-0 United States win in the group stage. Okay, now before we talk about the United States, okay, and the current roster and what's going on, because there is an injury update to talk about, drop a random comment in the comment section down below to rig the YouTube algorithm, and it can even be a score prediction of the game, or your favorite moment of our 2024 Copa America final vlog. Alright, and drop a like in the process. Okay, let's talk about the U.S. Men's National Team. Alright, so I already broke down the entire United States roster in a live stream, so if you want that analysis, go check out the live stream. But here's one update. Tyler Adams is out. He's injured. He's been cut. And Sean Zawadzki, in case you give a crap, he's also out because he's injured. I think Zawadzki has been called up 3 times, and all 3 times he got injured before camp, or literally before the first game. At this point, I don't even know if Sean Zawadzki is a real player. So with those 2 out, Pochettino decided to call in Tim Tillman. Not Malik Tillman, Tim Tillman. His brother that is not as good as him, okay? Why were there other options? Yes, you could have brought in Johnny. You could have brought in, even Weston McKennie. I don't know why he's not there. But Tim Tillman replaces Tyler Adams and I guess Sean Zawatsky. So for this game, what is the projected starting 11 for the United States? Pochettino seems to like the 3-4-2-1, so I believe he'll keep that formation. And that'll be with Matt Freese on goal, Miles Robinson as the right center back, Mark McKenzie as the central center back since Chris Richards is not available, and Tim Ream as the left center back. The right wing back is expected to be Serginho Dest. The left wing back is likely going to be Arfston. The two central midfielders, now that Tyler Adams is out, I'm expecting Pochettino to start Tanner Tessman with Christian Roldan. The two attacking midfielders that will be playing behind the center forward are expected to be Brendan Aronson and Diego Luna because Pochettino said that Gio Reyna might not play, apparently. Literally his words, not mine. The center forward will be Fullerton Balogun. All right, and what would be my starting 11 for this game? Now, keep in mind, in the past, I would go through the phases of play. I will not do that this video. We did a whole tactical breakdown video. I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to give you the starting 11 that I would put out to face Paraguay, and I'll give you my reasoning. And the formation itself is not the same as Pochettino. So listen, we don't have Pulisic and we don't have Tillman, essentially our two best playmakers right now. The only one we have in this roster that's a true playmaker, I would say it's Gio Reyna. And even though Pochettino said he wouldn't play Gio, I would play Gio this camp. Give him a shot, see what he can do for the national team, because he has performed better for the national team than club. And I'm not saying that Gio is James Rodriguez, but maybe he could become the American James Rodriguez, where he's complete shit for his club, but amazing for his country. All right, so that said, because we only have one true playmaker, I would switch the formation to a 3-5-2 instead of the 3-4-2-1. I would have one playmaker, and I would test out two players up top. So I would go with Matt Freese on goal. The three center backs, I would go with Scally as a right center back. I would test Scally there. I would put Mark McKenzie as a central center back and Tim Ream as the left center back. On the right wing back, I would put Dest. On the left wing back, I would put Barfston because who else? Like, we don't have anyone else in this roster. John Tolkien, that's 6 for half a dozen. It doesn't really matter. The double pivot, I would go with Aiden Morris and Tanner Tessman. Gio Reyna as the central attacking midfielder. And I would actually test out Balogun and Pepe up top. Think about it. It's the perfect opportunity to test Balogun and Pepe. You don't have Pulisic. You don't have Tillman. Test out two up top. See how it goes. All right, everyone. Before we continue, make sure to drop a like in this video. And now, let's bring the man, the myth, the legend, Fabio, the Paraguayan stalker, my favorite Paraguayan. Okay, today, this might be actually my favorite match preview. And look at that. Look at that. We have right here, everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. The most famous Paraguayan in the United States of America. He stalked me in the 2024 Copa America final, and we became friends because we both survived. You are also a 2024 Copa America final survivor, Fabio. How do you feel about that?
I mean, to be honest with you, you say I stalked you, but I feel like you were looking to get stalked that day, man. If you look at it's just like if you look at the comments in the YouTube videos, you know how to aura farm. You know how to put yourself in a position to get the views and the likes, and you know where I go, the views and the likes they follow. So
that is true. Did you know that a random footage that I was taking of myself, I think even with you walking behind, Sneeko was like walking.
Dude, and like just the fact that, you know, we made history that day. Yeah. That Colombia video, that little video of them going to the ventilators was like the most viral video I've ever been a part of. And it was just like a cell phone coverage. And the fact that you have like the behind the scenes of like me, like in the vlog going and chasing you, be like, yo, you got to come to this
for anyone that doesn't know, that's obviously, you guys have seen the vlog and you've seen Fabio with us multiple times. That little recording, what happened was I was trying to get into the game through the club section, which was the tickets we had with the other guy that was with us, John. John was with us. And when I was there, Fabio just comes from behind and just kind of like pokes us like, yo, you guys got to come here. You got to come here. And it was at a point that we knew we weren't going to get in anymore. So we just went with him, and as soon as we saw it was like a wall that was taken down, and you had the Colombians going in through the HVAC system. It was
nothing I've ever seen before. And the thing is, like, you know, I like it's funny that day you were trying to get into the club section. I didn't even have a ticket that day, so I'm like just like trying to just like
buy one.
yeah, I was trying to buy one, but like I just wanted to like scope it out and really get a feel of like what is happening here because people were climbing over the walls, fences, and like this setting, I've never seen a wall collapsed and people going through the vent system. To this day, I never could imagine that. And the fact that how many memes were created, like when Shakir, like my favorite one is like Shakir being like, ¿Dónde están los colombianos? And like they just like show a vent. Like the fact that memes were created from that, like that was a historic moment, I would say, in internet soccer, internet CONMEBOL, USA, kind of just what we kind of do,
Yeah, it was something that the whole world was talking about. But now let's talk about the now. Let's talk about the now. And if you guys want to check out that full story, just go check out the vlog. I'll probably put the link in the description. It's actually my favorite vlog of all time. It was super fun, funny. It was a little stressful at times at the location. I'm not going to lie, especially not getting in the game. But it was fun. Fabio, let's talk about the current Paraguayan national team that's going to play the United States this week. You guys are back in the World Cup. That's the first thing to be said. And it's you're going to be able to watch Paraguay here. We're going to talk about the current state of the national team, your roster, and then obviously we'll pull up the U.S. men's national team roster real quick. You are Paraguayan American, and you do know the U.S. national team very well. So we're going to dive into all of that. Paraguay, there's no other way to put it, no other way to sugarcoat it, was complete dog shit in the Copa America, just like the U.S., right? Really bad. You guys lost to Colombia, a very good Colombian side. Lost very badly to Brazil, which was not a good Brazil side, by the way. And then you guys also lost to Costa Rica, which is definitely not a good result for Paraguay. But ever since that, if you look at the results, you guys have been looking good. You beat Brazil in World Cup qualifying. You tied Uruguay, tied Ecuador, which is not an easy result. Beat Venezuela, beat Argentina in World Cup qualifying. Tied Bolivia away, which is pretty insane. You guys pulled up some pretty good results.
Before you go to the next games, it all started at that Copa America. It all like this whole thing. So we hit a low. That game against Colombia, for example, we played well. We have a lot of the same players we have on the team now. We're on that roster, minus a few like very glaring and questionable omissions. And that Colombia game, for example, we lost 2-1. But Ramon Sosa to Julio Enciso, they had a connection, and like you saw the potential of this team. But we could never, like, even if you look at qualifying, like we just were so bad. Dog shit. That's like the best word you could call it. It was just like, and a lot of this is energy. I'm a big believer in energy, and then I'm excited to talk about the U.S. as well because I think this kind of relates to that. But yeah, if you go to that Copa America, you have various like Gustavo Gomez didn't play a single game. You have our top goal scorer, Tony Sanabria, wasn't even called.
Just one thing, Fabio. Just so everyone knows who's Gustavo Gomez. He's the best
Gustavo
center back.
Gomez is the Palmeiras captain. So Filippo has a big love for him. All the Palmeiras fans do, but he's the number one center back in all of South America. About to play in the Libertadores final again. Already a two-time Libertadores champion. So yeah, like, but you also look at players like Tony Sanabria, who is our number one goal scorer. He wasn't even called to this Copa America squad. Gatito Fernandez, our starting goalkeeper, was not in the picture for this Copa America squad. So there were some questionable omissions, and in that last game, we lost those two games. That last game, we're already eliminated against Costa Rica, and we lost to them, but we somehow met or broke the ice with the Costa Rican national team head coach at the time, who's Gustavo Alfaro.
That's who you guys signed?
That's who we ended up bringing on as our coach.
Oh, so you guys had a little bit
That's
of
why, dude, I tell you, it was all this Copa America. It's like it was like we needed something to change. We're very much in the same situation as U.S. national team where it's just like, we were at the bottom of the rankings in CONMEBOL, which is a very difficult qualifying. Like we had to go on a run, and we got this guy Alfaro, who is very famous for turning around teams. Ecuador,
the last cycle, yes,
Costa Rica, and he came to Paraguay. Now he's probably the most famous.
So I actually didn't connect the dots there. I know Gustavo Alfaro. He did a tremendous job with Ecuador last cycle, a very young Ecuadorian side. I didn't know that. That's actually fascinating. So just to summarize it to everyone, Paraguay lost to Costa Rica in the last game, a Costa Rica side led by Gustavo Alfaro. After the bad campaign, they signed Gustavo Alfaro, the Costa Rican coach. And ever since, it looks like the team definitely got back on track with some impressive results. I mean, you guys, in a 2 to 3 month span, you managed to beat Brazil and Argentina. Like that's not an easy accomplishment right there. You guys tied Colombia away.
Yeah.
And then obviously lost to Paraguay and lost to Brazil in World Cup qualifying in Brazil. That's fine. I mean, normal result. You guys tied Japan in Japan. That's a good result because you guys played Japan's best players. And then you lost to South Korea 2-0 in South Korea. But Fabio, this is a different Paraguayan side. New coach, Gustavo Alfaro. He turns things around. Let's pull up the Paraguayan roster.
Yeah.
So you can go through a few names. Some key, you kind of mentioned them, but I think it's better if people actually visualize what you were talking about. This is the roster they're bringing to face the United States. So I just want to tell you a few things that I noticed because I watched Paraguay throughout World Cup qualifying. I didn't watch all of your games, but I obviously caught a few of them against Brazil, for example, and a few others. And Paraguay seems like a team that's very tough to score on, right? Very good defense, especially lately. But you guys do seem to struggle to score also from the games I watched. It reminded me almost like a version of Ecuador. You're free to disagree with me. You're the Paraguayan expert here. Go through the roster and let me know your thoughts on what I just said about Paraguay's defense versus their offense. But here are the names. Go ahead.
So, all right, real quick, I just want to just go back a little bit as well, because I think that the first, so we talk about hitting rock bottom in the Copa America. I think that the first sign of life was right after the Copa America in the Olympics with the U23 team. And the reason why I mentioned this now with this roster is because, and especially when you talk about goal scoring, it was like, all right, the Olympics, first of all, the Olympics are two over 23 players that were called, Fabian Balbuena and Gatito. So Gatito is our starting goalkeeper. We'll start with him. He is the oldest player on this roster. He won a Libertadores in 2024, so only a year ago with Botafogo. He was the backup keeper, but at the beginning of the season, he was the starter, and he remained a captain throughout the whole team. He's a leader, and he happens to be my cousin. So that's like a small kind of tidbit. So he got called to this Olympic team. And in this Olympics, the first game we lost 5-0. And then from there, we went on to win 3 games right after that. And traditionally, we're known as Paraguay to not score goals. But in that sub-23 team, we had 2 players in particular that are on this team. And it's Julio Enciso, who's on Brighton, probably our most famous player right now, who is an absolute goal scorer. If you go on and look at his highlights, he rips bangers from outside the box.
Well, now he's at Strasbourg, right? He left.
Yeah, now he's at Strasbourg, but last year he was in the Premier League and he was just ripping goals. And the other player on that U23 team was Diego Gomez, who is now at Brighton. And he recently had 4 goals in the in the European Cup. No, not European Cup. England. What's the
FA
cup?
Cup? FA Cup.
FA Cup. He had a 4-goal performance in the FA Cup. So we have these young, and these guys are under 23. It's like they're 22 years old, 21 years old, and they're our best players. So the future is so bright for Paraguay right now. But like I said earlier, we also have these veterans, like Gatito, like Gustavo we mentioned earlier. We have this guy Omar Alderete who's at Sunderland. He's right next to Gustavo. Right there, those two are 2 center backs, our starting 2 center backs, Gustavo and Omar. And when they're on the field, together, it's very hard to score on us. But I just want to put that tidbit out there that we do score goals. And you talk about that Argentina game. If you want to go down to Antonio Sanabria, so he's our number 9, and he's someone who, like I said, he wasn't even on this Copa America squad, and that's part of the reason why I feel like we couldn't score goals. And ever since he's been back on the squad, he's been a perennial player in Europe. So funny thing about Tony Sanabria, he played with Barcelona on that Messi team for a year. and he grew up in Barcelona. Really, like he didn't move. He moved away from Paraguay when he was 11, and so he's pretty much kind of European. So we have like these guys, and of course, like for the MLS folks, we have two MLS guys I want to talk about is Brian Ojeda and Miguel Almiron. Miguel Almiron obviously being like the more well-renowned player, but Brian Ojeda from Real Salt Lake, they're right next to each other, so you can like put them in the same frame. You have someone who and also Andres Cubas too, but I want to focus on Ojeda because Ojeda was which I really love about we're both kind of MLS critics, but I think one thing that MLS does well is the U22 initiative. So where like they purposely like identify players that are under 22 and kind of give them the platform.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Huh?
Give them a lot of money.
Give them money, but I mean more so they give them the opportunity to shine and get sold. Yeah. Really, and Almiron was one of those players back in the day originally. And you saw the career that MLS gave him, and there's no denying that. I don't think he gets the Premier League without Atlanta United. So I think that's one of the things like that MLS does well is gives them a place to develop and get sold onto bigger clubs. So I think that you look at two players that are examples of that is Brian Ojeda and Miguel Almiron. So watch out for Brian Ojeda in the future, and Miguel Almiron is our number 10. So
yeah, I mean he won MLS even 2018, 19? Something like that. I can't remember when Atlanta used to be good.
Not good anymore. I mean, but watch out because they just got Tata, But yeah, I don't know. I just think that this team we're missing a few players, and we're testing a few players out like US is, trying to get figure out those last roster spots. But I think that this combo in particular, because we're playing US and then we're going down to San Antonio to play Mexico, it's going to be really our pretty much our pre-World Cup preparation. We're playing in the States, both games. Against the two host countries. Most of our team is already defined and really just trying to figure out those last spots.
So very quickly, let's go through the U.S. roster. We don't have to go through every name.
No, definitely not.
And at the time that's recording, Tyler Adams has been cut. Same thing with.
He got hurt, right?
He had like a head injury. So Tyler Adams is out. Sean Zawadzki's out, even though that doesn't really matter. And Tim Tillman is replacing him. Not Malik Tillman. Tim Tillman, the wrong Tillman, the brother of Malik Tillman. So the U.S. is missing a lot of players, right? We're missing Christian Pulisic, Tim Weah, Malik Tillman, Johnny Cardoso. We're missing Weston McKennie, Chris Richards, Anthony Robinson. We're missing like half or over half of the starting 11. But anyhow, there are no excuses, right? Because we could very well go to the World Cup and have 5-6 players injured. That can happen to any team. So the U.S., is there anything in particular that you want to talk about in terms of the roster? Because I already broke down this roster. I've talked about it extensively. Not very exciting roster. I guess Gio Reyna being back is interesting. Joe Scally being back is interesting. You do have good options at the center forward position with Balogun, Pepe, and Haji. But when I look at this roster, I don't see who are the creators. Diego Luna, Aronson, that's not enough. There's not. Besides Gio Reyna, there's no actual playmaker here.
Yeah,
the midfield.
All right. Let me start with Gio Reyna then, because I think that number one, I think he's one of our best US's best players. I think he is a playmaker. I just think a lot of people forget that with soccer in particular too, it's not just it's not just you go in and if you're a good player, you play well. And if you're a bad player, you don't play well, unless you're, who's that guy that you love from the U.S. national team that plays at Cerro Porteño, the Argentinian guy.
That play? Matko Miljevic.
No, he's a baller. The other guy, he's
Alan Sonora.
Unless you're Alan Sonora, bro. Maybe honestly, I just feel with Gio Reyna, for example, you got to go learn other languages. You have to adapt with a coach. There's so much factors. You have to an apartment, where you're going to live, what your daily routine going to be like. And I just feel like so many things, there's so many factors that come into it. You don't pick how much you're going to play, how you're going to get used, But there's one thing that I believe is that Gio Reyna is a baller. Like I refuse to say he's lost it or whatever. He's so young, So I'm excited that he's getting an opportunity. But more so, it's like I'm excited for Pochettino, because I think that he's focusing on culture, and that's where US needs the most help. Is like, who are we? What is our identity? That's what someone like Bruce Arenas, who isn't like an X's and O's guy, brought. He was a people manager. And that's why I think that US needs anything. It's like, look, like, we have the best players that we've ever had on the US national team. We've never had this many players in Europe. It's such a tough job right now to pick the best 26 players in the US, because there's so many players. We've never had such a deep pool of people from all over the place, especially all these people changing nationalities too, so I think that US, they what they need more than anything is to just come together. And that's what I think, like, the teams, had back when, like, Donovan and them were playing. I think that that's why they get so emotional when they talk about this new roster, this new era of soccer, because, like,
I think Landon's problems more than emotions, but yeah.
They just like they just had like such like a passion for the crest, and they all like just had.
But I saw Landon say that Ajiman, if he was more clinical, he would be playing for Barcelona. I saw him say that. There's a video. So,
I mean, but that goes to his passion. He like loves his players so much, like he speaks with emotion, man. You can't
Landon loves specific players. Landon is one, but the other ones, you're right. Like when we talk about Clint Dempsey for sure. Can't complain too much about Howard besides a few takes here and there, but Landon's the one that I'll pick on. Landon, I'll definitely pick on.
I mean, dude, I'm not talking about him as an analyst. I'm talking to him as a player, bro. As a player,
yeah,
I'm sorry, there's no one that repped US like Landon did. Like this guy went to he wore that thing on his chest. What's crazy is he was like the assist leader of all time for a while. I don't know if like global
worldwide
soccer, any national team, So I just think that he gets a bad rep. I don't agree with a lot of his takes. I think but I love how he's back in the picture. The fact, like, we need him giving these horrendous takes.
I don't, but sure.
I think we need Landon, bro. If US soccer, that's what it comes down to. U.S. soccer needs to come together. Like, it starts at the top with like the presidents and like, the administration, comes from the coach, comes from the players, and it comes from the fans. It's like a big community. And that's what I think is happening with Paraguay right now. And that's why we're having so much success, is because everyone's coming together. It's like this energy wave that, like, even the fans can't criticize the roster decisions as much because we're winning. And like and it really all starts with like, we needed a leader, and that coach, and the coach is a big part of that. I see what Pochettino is trying to do, where he's like writes on the thing, culture over, where he put culture on that board.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast. What's what he
wrote, yeah. Because like at the end of the day, like sometimes you just got to kick strategy out the window and go play. At the end of the day, it's a game, and you got to kind of just like fight for that crest. And
but the difference between the U.S. and Paraguay is Paraguay changed their coach. The culture shift was quick. The player selections changed also quickly. And you guys started to get some impressive results. Pochettino, he probably is trying to do what you're saying, and he is trying to change the culture. He said it many times, and some of his actions do show that he is, but at some point the results have to show up, right?
Yeah, but dude, you can't. It's also hard to compare because like Paraguay's already had a strong soccer culture. Like you said, for years, like we went back to our identity of just like strong defense, and like US is still developing their soccer culture as a whole. MLS, I would say, even like grassroots, like there's a lot of soccer fans here, man. Like they just all consume their soccer content via Premier League, via Liga MX, via Libertadores. Like we just haven't. There's just such a there's just like a bottlenecking that happens at the top, in my opinion. that, we need to figure out. We need to stop gatekeeping U.S. soccer fans away from soccer. We need to kind of open the floodgates a little bit and like really just like just not be so clean and cookie cutter. We have to really like let the fans and the players be themselves and take this thing to the next level. And I'm still confident that they can figure this out. I think that, like I said, I really think that he's trying to test the last roster spots, bring a lot of MLS people into the fold. But once the roster's set, I think it's going to be very European heavy with a few. Obviously, there's always a few question marks on any roster,
Yeah.
But
I think ultimately Pochettino is going to get judged based on how he does in the World Cup. If he
Yeah.
does well in the World Cup, all these bad results will be forgotten. They won't matter because, the end is what truly matters. And it's the World Cup, right? If you go there, you make it to the quarterfinals in the World Cup, we're just going to say, well, he did a tremendous job, because even though he lost a few friendlies here and there, Gold Cup, the ultimate goal is the World Cup, and he got the job done. But Fabio, just to close things here, for this specific game, you got to give us a score prediction for USA and Paraguay.
I mean, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Paraguay. I think Paraguay is going to have some goals.
I'm going to go with 1-1. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. It'll be tough for both sides to score. I'll go with 1-1. You go 2-1, I'll go 1-1, and we'll check that out.
Yeah, we'll see. I just have I have complete faith in this team and my dogs. I've been fortunate enough to be able to like travel with the team and really get to know these players as people. And yeah, I just think right now I'm really proud of the guys, and I will bet on them any day of the week. So I'm loving it. But
you guys beat Brazil and Argentina, so you should be confident.
I wish U.S. soccer the best, but yeah, I just don't see them beating Paraguay. A tie maybe, but this team, I don't know. I think that we're going to see. It's going to be a good test for them. That's for sure.
Especially with the players we're missing. Everyone, make sure to go follow Freaky Fabio on Instagram. Well, he's also on X, but if you want to have fun, go follow his Instagram account. It's great. And hopefully we get him on YouTube more often. Maybe we get a few vlogs together. Are
the fans going to be going crazy? Are the American Outlaws going to be turning up or what?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Drop a like before you go. Have a great day.
All
right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. I guess that's all for today. Let me know in the comment section down below your prediction for United States versus Paraguay. We will be doing a live watch-along, of course, on Saturday, and I'll see you there. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.